everyone. Welcome to the winter quarters of MJ Hobby Corner. We're a little cramped right now, but soon my studio will open and I'll have that building for filming and doing all my projects. So yeah, I can't wait for that. That should happen soon, although March they say is going to be cold still, so we'll see. But anyway, today in this video I want to do a little game of Anthems of War. And for those of you that don't know, Anthems of War is a game by Sentient Robot, Handcraft and Games. The author is Ryan Dunphy. And for those of you that don't know, Anthems of War is a fantasy miniature war game. It's more of a skirmish game. I usually play it with low model counts, but you can increase your model counts as you see fit. But the game has a very interesting, very clever rule set. It is based on an action-reaction mechanic. Roles can be opposed or unopposed depending on the situation. It has a very robust magic system. A lot of choices with magic. And magic, while powerful, you have to be careful with it because it does have a backlash system. And yeah, so if you're too careless with your magic, you do have to be careful. You can harm yourself, but it is very powerful and very robust. A lot of choices in magic, and I like that. And it's a rule set. It's broken up into a standard quick start game where it's just very basic. You can learn the game, and then it has a more standard game with more things added to it that you can do, and that gives the game a very strong RPG flavor. Also, one thing I really like about these rules, they do have a website that you can go to, a character creator, and you can create characters. There are rules for creating your own characters, and I love that because as a miniature gamer, I really like miniature agnostic rules and rules that allow you to create multiple things. So that creation freedom is definitely in this game. So we really like this. And last thing I'll say about it, this game shines as a two-player game. I will be doing it solo, but I know Julie has played with me and she really likes Anthems of War as well. So, all right, so let's get to the game now. Okay, so we have a Cavern system here, and I'm probably going to be playing during the day just so that I can get, you know, the game going and I can edit it and get it up in time. I am playing a second game here of A Song of Blades and Heroes, and that's going to Patreon. So that game is being played at night. However, maybe the last turn we'll play it at night, shut the lights, put the blue light on, and play the caverns in the true dark setting. It is really cool. Okay, but for now, for these turns, we are going to play in the lit cavern so we can see what we're doing. Okay, so here we have two war bands, and it's two lizardman tribes. For the cult of Vugish, we have a witch doctor. We have a troglodyte warrior, which is very, very similar stats as the lizardman warrior in the book. I use that as a template. This is a troglodyte cleaver, is the name. We have a troglodyte archer. And we have a Chelonian warrior. Chelonian warrior. A group of turtle-like humanoids that live with this clan. Okay. And here in the corner, we have the lizardlings, a little squad of lizardlings, and a squad leader. So they are hidden as well. They do have the scout ability, so they are deployed ahead of the group. However, I cannot deploy them within 3 inches of any objective. So they are deployed back here near the deployment zone of the rest of the clan. For the Dark Scale Immortals, we have a Lizardman Warrior. We have a Lord of the Hunt. He's a big one. We have a Tyrant Guard Skeleton, and hence the immortal name to the clan. A clan necromancer. This is a dark scale necromancer. And another tyrant guard skeleton. Both resurrected by that necromancer. And there we go. Cult will be the blue dice, and the black dice will be the dark scale immortals. We're rolling initiative, and it looks like the cult it is with a 4, so they take the first turn. I'm going to give the first order to the squad leader, and he is going to try to sneak with his squad to the next stalagmite. Okay, the squad leader with his lizardlings is going to make a standard movement to the next stalagmite, and so I will give him an order. They can all move together, and his move is 4. So he's going to move here. And the rest of his squad can follow. So that is going to be a dex check. I'm going to add the dex of 2. Roll a d20. If I achieve a 12, then they remain hidden. And that is a 19 plus 2. So yes, they remain hidden in the shadows of the great stalagmite. So that is the first move by the cult of Vugish. First one is the Lord of the Hunt. He's going to give a roar and step forward with a basic move. He's going to go 4 inches. And that remains his order. And that's all he's going to do. He's going to step into the shadows defiantly. Moving slowly and cautiously towards the middle objective. A long action to the troglodyte. And he's going to do a double move. And he's going to move closer to that middle objective and see if it's the artifact. And he stays right there. We are now in the action phase of turn 1 as the armies are taking turn. The warbands are taking turns moving. Well, the necromancer, let's see. he's going to take a move. And what I'm going to do is for this first turn, now that we have an idea of the movement, we're going to summarize this turn, and next turn we should be getting into the action, and I'll record a full turn. Okay, round one is now over, and we are in the side of the Cult of Vogish. And this is where all the character positions are. By the way, I want to make a correction. The squad takes 2 actions to move. 1 action for the leader, another action to move the 3 individuals that make up the squad. So that was supposed to be 2 actions. Okay, we have a troglodyte warrior who went straight for the middle objective to check it. However, the lizard man warrior also moved into his line of sight. There were no reactions. The lizard man warrior used a long action to run over to that space, as did the troglodyte. The Lord of the Feast first opened up, as we saw earlier, with a cautious move forward and a defiant roar. Okay. Next, the troglodyte archer moved here with a long action. He's trying to get line of sight to the necromancer. Necromancer still obscured by the shadow of the big stalagmite there. So the archer doesn't really have a good position right now. Next, the Kelonian warrior went straight for this objective. He did a run move to it. And we have the skeletal tyrant guard. One of them rushes closer to the objective, so he's probably going to be contesting it. And the second tyrant guard has moved closer to his master. And that was a short movement action. All right, we'll do a full second turn. Second round, rather. Oh, and by the way, the witch doctor has moved here. He's being cautious as well. And we'll see if he has the opportunity to cast any spells. So next round, we should see some actions and reactions. So our archer can see the outline of the necromancer just ahead of him. But the necromancer is going to be considered in cover. And so the archer will get a -2 penalty to the roll. However, he can, with a long action, use a focused range attack, which then gives him a +2, which then negates the cover. All right, so let's see how that goes. So here we see another angle. And I'm going to give him a long action for a focused attack. And that's an aimed shot. And let's see. The necromancer is going to get a reaction. So he's going to try to dodge. So the black dice will be the necromancer. And the blue dice will be the archer. And these are opposed rolls. So shooting action and reaction. So the archer is rolling 1 die, since a short bow has speed 1, and he adds his dexterity score of 3, and the necromancer adds his dexterity score. He only has dex 1. Okay, so the black dice will have a bonus of 1. And the other dice, the blue dice, will have a bonus of 3. We are both trying to beat a 12. So let's see what happens. A 7 plus 1 is 8. So no. A 12 plus dexterity of 3 plus the, bonus actually negates the penalty. So it's just going to be a 3. So that is a 15. And that means an armor check for the necromancer. So necromancer's going to have to roll an armor check to see if he dodges, if his armor protects him. So the strength value of the bow is 5. Add that to the base value of 8, giving 13. And now the Necromancer has armor 2 plus dexterity 1. So he adds 3 to his dice roll, and we have to beat 13 or over. He rolls a 10 plus 3, and he just makes it. So the arrow bounces off the Necromancer's natural armor. So okay, that was that. So that ends his action, and now we go to the Dark Scale Immortals. So I think the Necromancer will concentrate. He's going to cast the spell Harm. It is a strength 3 spell, range 6, so he's definitely in range. It is a type P, which means it's a point target. So I just, my target is the archer in front of me. And he's going to use 2 points of mind to concentrate on the spell. So that's 2 dice. And then his last point of mind, he normally has 3, a +2 bonus to the roll of the spell. So that's it. And then the archer is going to react by attacking. So we will need a dice for the archer, and I'm going to say it's this green dice here. That's going to be the result. So the reaction is going to be an attack and 2 rolls, and I only need 1 success because it is the first circle spell. So 1 success will cause a strength 3 armor check. Well, let's see if the archer hits him, because if he is hit, all right, let's see. We have a 17 plus 2 is 19, and so that's 1 success, but the archer rolled an 18. All right, so that is a successful hit on the Necromancer. So the spell, 2 successes here, because this was a 10. A 10 plus 2 is a 12. You only need an 11 or over for the spell to go off. So this success is canceled, but there is 1 more success that goes through. So while the archer did attack, the Necromancer moved a bit, dodged the arrow, and then continued his spell and attacked the archer. So the archer will have an armor check, and we're going to use the same blue dice. And his armor, the armor for the archer, let's see if he has any. He has natural armor, which is +2, and that's it. So, oh, and his dex, which is 3, so that's a total of 5. Needs an 11. All right, so he can pretty much do this. He rolls an 11, and he is fine. The spell does not affect him. And I think I'm going to give the Necromancer another action. So that's 2 actions just to do a basic move. And move into the cover of the stalagmite. So just above there. Alright, so that takes his 2 actions. And gets him out of range of the archer there. Okay, moving on to the Cult of Vogish. The Colonian warrior sees an opportunity to search the area, and so he grabs that opportunity. He's going to have 1 order. Let's see how many inches away he's from the marker. He has to be 2 inches away at least. So we are going to give him 1 basic move order. And move him closer to the objective area. There is a marker there. And now he's going to spend a long action, so a second order, long action to search. And see if that artifact marker, if that objective marker is in fact the artifact. Alright, so I have a couple of red markers inside this little container, and I have a blue marker. If the blue marker is pulled out, then the Colonian has found an artifact and he can pick it up. It's as part of a move action, so he won't be able to pick it up this turn unless I give him a final a third action. But I don't think I want to move spend that many order points. It is a red marker, and so no, that is not an artifact. It is not an artifact. An artifact is not found yet. So that is that. I'm going to leave the objective marker on the table in case it is an artifact for later on. But for the time being, there is no artifact there. Okay, moving on to the Dark Scale Immortals. It's their turn next, and the round 2 continues with them. Okay, so now that we are on the immortal side of things, we're going to give it to the Lord of the Hunt, the big one, and he is right here. So he sees, he has somebody in his line of sight, one of the troglodyte cleavers. One of the troglodyte cleavers is in his front arc, and so let's see, we are going to, he's going to take an action. So one action point, or one order rather. I'm going to give him an order, and he's going to do a long move and attack. Okay, so as part of a long action, the Lord of the Hunt makes a move. Now he moves 4. Let me see. He's not going to quite get there yet. He's going to need a double move. Okay, so we're going to put him here, and he's still, he's behind this stalagmite. He's still about 2 inches away. Okay, so the Lord of the Hunt is going to do a basic move, and basically as a reaction, the troglodyte will turn to face. And that's his reaction. All right, so now moving to the cult. And I think I'm going to give it to the witch doctor. I have to decide. It's going to be one order, probably. Let me see. So I think the witch doctor is going to take one order and move to this corner here. Get close to the objective, but also have line of sight to the Lord of the Hunt without exposing himself too much. And he's going to cast with a second action. It's a standard action. He's going to cast some wild magic. It's called Acidic Assault, and that is range 3. And yes, he is in range. And it is strength 3. It is type P, so it is a point target. And of course, that means that the Lord of the Hunt is himself is the target. And we see him right there. So he's going to give a little bit of support to his troglodyte comrade. And we're going to give him the 2 orders. So I spent a lot of orders. I only have 1 order left. And he's going to do Acidic Assault. So we repeat the spell. So I'm going to, it's a first circle spell. So it only needs 1 success. And he is going to use his mind. Exact same thing as the other spellcaster. He's going to use, instead of 3 dice for mind 3, he's going to use 2 dice. And his third mind point, instead of using a dice, he's going to give himself a bonus to hit. And the Lord of the Hunt is going to try to dodge, so we'll give him a green dice. he adds his dex to the thing, and so now I add a +2. Oh, and he has a spellcasting implement. That is right. And I think the other spellcaster also had a spellcasting implement. So, by the way, also, I just want to make sure when you see the texts appear in screen, they usually correct a mistake. One of the things I have to remember most is when characters run, if they do a double move, they get a -2. Archers, any archers in the area get a -2 to hit a character that has just run. That's very important. So he does have a spellcasting implement, and I might have forgotten that in the other, in the Necromancer's spell last time. But that's okay. We're moving on. So, okay. So he's going to have a +2 because of the mind point that he is using. He adds a +1, so that's a +3. And let me just check something. Okay, so the spellcaster is adding a 3 to each of his dice, and he's doing the spell as a long action. The Lord of the Hunt is going to dodge, and so that's a +2 because of his dexterity. So let's see. Okay, Lord of the Hunt rolls a 1. That is no go. So failure on the spell attempt as well with a 2. But there is one success. A 16 + 3 does succeed. So let's see. So the strength of the acid spell is 3. So he has to pass an 11. And he's going to probably do this. He rolls a 12. No, a 17. He rolls a 17 + 6. And yes, that more than passes the 11 number that he needed. So, okay. Nothing happens. He dodges the magical acid that has been flung at him. Okay, so I'm going to give a long action to the Lizardman Warrior. And he moves total of 8 inches, so he's going to move right to the objective marker here. That was his action because he spent 2 orders to find that artifact. So next turn he can pick it up, and it looks like the Dark Scale Immortals are going to have 150 victory points if he manages to get out of the deployment edge, which is really very, very close to him. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. All right, so 1 artifact revealed. With that, we end, and with that, we end round 2. Let's go on to round 3, and I'm going to summarize round 3 a little bit. This way the video doesn't get too long. Of course, anything exciting that happens, really exciting, we'll turn on the camera and immediately leave it. So round 2 is over, and by the way, our friends over here, they didn't react. They're holding that action because they may want to ambush. We'll see, because now that there is an artifact that has been found, they may want to move and try to contest that. All right, round 3. Okay, so round 3 is now over, and first things first, let's go over one of the combats here. The Lord of the Hunt moves into combat with the Troglodyte Cleaver. He makes an attack, and the Troglodyte Cleaver reacts by attacking back. The Lord of the Hunt failed to fight, and the Troglodyte managed to get a hit past him. So the Lord of the Hunt did an armor check and passed. So he was able to he was able to avoid any damage from the combat. Now in the next turn, the Troglodyte Cleaver then swings his scimitar and attacks the Lord of the Hunt, but the Lord of the Hunt blocked, and that was that combat. So yeah, those two are still fighting, and the troglodyte was doing a long move. He invested in a long move. It was an attack and sidestep, so the trog sidestepped after his attack. So that's why he's off to the side there. All right, so that's the main combat there in the center. And moving on, the little witch doctor. You notice he has a red dice next to him. The little witch doctor actually tried to do a spell. He was going to cast a second circle spell called Tentacle Field, which would then make the area around the objective difficult terrain. This way, hoping to slow down any attempts of the opposing warband to get any objectives, to search for any objectives. Unfortunately, he failed. He used 2 of his 3 mind points to get 2 dice, and then the last mind point that he had available, he used to give himself a +2 bonus. He still failed, and now that little red dice indicates the number of spells he has left before he gets mana burn. So basically, or spell burn, not mana burn. Mana burn is Magic the Gathering. Spell burn. So basically, a figure has his mind points +1, and that is the number of spells that can be cast safely. And once that number goes down to 0, you can still cast spells, but you run the risk of getting mana burn, getting spell burn if you fail. So he's not there yet, but we are counting his spell attempts. All right, so that was a failed second circle spell. Our little Colonian warrior right there, the Ninja Turtle with the club, he searched the area again, did not find an artifact, and that's all he did. Couldn't do anything else. So moving on to this side, we see that our little group of kobolds and the squad leader, they move up, trying to catch up to the lizard man, who on the last turn actually found an artifact, and he's running with it. And there he is. That's by this turn he'll be able to escape if no one has caught up to him. And there is a skeletal tyrant guard right next to him supporting his escape. And then one of the tyrant guard also moved into a cavern chamber here, closer to the Colonian warrior, who is still looking for the artifact in that chamber in there. So yeah, not good. The archer fired on the necromancer. However, he missed. So here we catch a glimpse of the archer. The archer fires, the necromancer dodges, and that was the end of that. Then the necromancer tried to cast corpse flesh on himself, which increases his armor, but he failed. And that's a second circle spell, so he needed 2 successes. He only got 1 success, and so his little spell points there went down by 1 as well. So again, they still have plenty of time before they have to worry about spell burn, but it's gonna happen if they keep using spells. So that's how it is in this game. All right, and that was round 3. We're now moving to round 4 of the cave, and it looks like the dark scaled immortals may possibly win this fight. We have one individual that is pending to leave the board with an artifact. So now the troglodyte cleaver is going to attack the Lord Lord reacts by turning around to face him. He gets a long action, attack and retreat. He uses 3 dice because of the speed of his weapon. And now we're going to roll. Okay. All right, he has 18, 19, 13, and 14. Okay, so that is 3 hits on the Lord. The Lord needs 3 armor checks now. And the Lord gets +6 to his armor altogether. And let's see, the strength of the weapon is 5. Oh, so 13 is the target number on each of the dice. So 17, that is a block. 6 + 6 is 12, and 18 + 6. So he blocks all but 1 hit. And now this guy can retreat since he did an attack and retreat. Okay. So there he is. Attack and retreat, and we move on. Okay, and now this lizard man is going to get a long action, and he's going to run right out of the board with the objective, and the black scaled immortals have 150 victory points. I think I'm just going to continue a little bit with this round so we can see a couple of things, but technically we have a victor. Let me give a movement to the squad leader. He's going to have a basic move and push him up here, and give another action to his crew. They're going to move next to him to support him. Not going to move them all the way, but move them partially up. So I think he's going to throw his purple potion on that lizard man, on the skeleton. So we're going to put the potion right here and see if that's where it falls. So in order to hit in that location, I use either my dex, physique, or mind. My mind is 0, so I'm not going to use that. So we'll go to either physique or dexterity. I'm going to use dexterity. Take a die, and I need to roll a 10 or over in yes, a 10 or over because the target number is a 12. So let's do that, and I rolls a 12. Okay, so the potion lands exactly where he wanted it to land. It's a B1 sized explosion. So yeah, it has to, it explodes right on him. He needs to do a strength 4 armor check or lose 1 constitution. So the tyrant guard has to roll an armor check. He needs a 12 or over, and that's because the strength of the potion is 4, so 8 + 4 is 12. And then his dex is 1, and he has a shield, so that's 2. So armor check +2. He rolls a 4. A 4 + 2 is not 12. And so he loses 1 constitution. He explodes into pieces. Alright, that was a good potion throw by the leader there. Okay, so the necromancer is going to have 2 dice. He gets a +2. He must roll an 11 or over 1. So let's see if he can cancel out the successes of the spell. It is skeletal hands, and if he does not, then the hands do damage to him. He has to roll an armor check. So, all right. So the black dice is the archer. It gets +3. He has to roll a 12 or over. And the Green dice have to roll an 11 or over with a +2. So let's see if any successes get canceled. Okay, so a 12. This is one success for the spellcaster. 12 plus 2. This is a failure, and this is a failure. So the spell goes through, spell activates, and the skeletal hands attack the archer. So there is skeletal hands, and now the archer has to do an armor check. Strength 2. So he takes a strength 2 attack. So that the archer only has to roll a 10 or over. So let's see if he does it. So the archer rolls a 4. That is an 8. He does not. He takes a strength 3 attack, goes through, and the archer is destroyed because he only has 1 con, and the caster, the necromancer, has successfully killed another figure. So both factions have 1 casualty each, but the dark scale immortals have won the game because they managed to pull the artifact off the board, and this was an action. So with 3 actions left in the pool for these dark scale immortals, and then the Cult of Vugish has 2 actions left on the board, and this is where the game ends, closing in on round 4. All right, that was cool. Okay, well, that was all for Anthems of War. This was a cool little experiment with a different table, you know, the Cavern setup, so very cool. Now, in the standard game, when a model dies, it doesn't just get removed from the board. I was actually playing the basic game rules in that aspect. I did add a few abilities, and like the potion throwing and all that is from the standard rules, but the basic rules are, you pretty much, when you get hit, if you only have 1 constitution, that model is removed from play once it reaches 0 constitution. In the standard game, though, you have a much more interesting thing that happens. The model, once it reaches 0 constitution, it rolls a death save, and then that model is unconscious until a friendly model can come and help it out. And so models that have healing abilities or healing potions or whatever become very important in that sense, in the standard game. So it's a little different. Now, if the model does not get assistance or it fails its death save, then it is removed from play. So it just gives it more of a role-playing game, you know, theme when you play, a role-playing game feel, right? And the other thing, of course, is there are rules for jumping and falling, and you can push models back. So if they're on a ledge and they get pushed back successfully, that model could fall. And so there's a lot of interesting things that go on in the standard game. So next game, that's what we're going to play, standard game. I think I'm ready to play the full rules, and hopefully it'll be a 2-player game, hopefully. Alright folks, well, if you want to support the channel, you can like and subscribe here on YouTube. You can visit our Patreon, and also there is War Games Vault. If you want to support us that way, visit and check out Scratch Builder Monthly and the Scratch Builder Monthly series that I have on War Games Vault, and that's another way to support us as well. So thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next video. I've been a little bit, I haven't been myself really, haven't been feeling 100%, so hopefully this will get over soon and we can continue with the work here. Alright folks, see you soon. Bye now.